My granddaughter did nothing to no one to be the one that had to be buried.
Well, right now, the search for a killer. Here what the grandmother of a little girl shot in Southeast says the girl's mother did to try to save her. Plus, the latest tonight after that chaotic scene inside Nats Park. Here why police insist that it's still safe, and why others say they'll think twice before going out to the ball game. And a bizarre incident leading to hours of delays on the metro today. The crime that police say happened just moments before the suspect jumped onto the tracks. 7 News at 11 starts right now.
7 News on your side at 11 starts now.
And so people started hitting the deck, and we were like lying on the ground because we thought there was somebody above us with a gun.
And right now, 7 News on your side, looking into the fallout from last night's chaotic scene at Nationals Park. The sound of gunshots sending fans running onto the field, some ducking into dugouts for cover. Police later saying that the shooting happened outside the third base gate, and a fan who was trying to leave the park and beat the traffic home was hit by that gunfire. Earlier today, the Nats and Padres picking up right where they left off last night after leaving everyone at that game on edge. That scene coming less than 24 hours after a deadly shooting less than 5 miles away. Here's 7 News is on your side's Justin Hinton with the latest on this violent weekend in the district.
It's a family affair at the ballpark for Erin Douglas. She joined thousands of fans one day after gunfire erupted outside of Nats Park in the middle of a game.
We thought that that was an incident that was isolated. We did read more into it, that it was between the two cars, so it wasn't inside the stadium.
That's part of the reason why she decided to bring her 2 young children. Though in this day and age, she's constantly thinking about safety.
On a daily basis, and that's sad that we have to think if we go to a public event, how would we exit this event leaving with our kids and their safety? This latest incident follows a string of high-profile crimes near Nats Park. A March 23rd carjacking that led to an Uber driver's death, and a June 9th attempted carjacking that led to a man getting tased. I asked Nats manager Davey Martinez about the impact those events have on fans and staff.
What do you say to them who may be scared to go to work, or for the fans who are scared to come to a game?
You know, I love this city. You know, this city is my home.
The toll of it all really setting in.
It can get crazy. We all know that. And we all want to feel safe. I can tell you that inside this ballpark, I feel safer than ever. I really do. We care about each other. We don't want anybody getting hurt. So, like I said, for me yesterday, I try to protect as many people as possible.
Despite what appears to be a recent rise in violent crime, the deputy mayor for public safety and justice says the opposite is true.
We do see our numbers coming down in shootings and homicides throughout the city. We want to keep that. 7
News on your side checked MPD's data. The 2020 saw a 4% decrease in violent crime from 2019. And as of July 16th, 2021, violent crime was on pace with 2020. Though city leaders condemn any form of violence, saying enough is enough.
You guys ready to go in? Come on.
Calling on the community to step up and make a difference.
And tonight in a joint statement, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and Nats owner Mark Lerner saying these acts of violence are unacceptable and will not be tolerated. They also said the incident appears to have been a dispute between people in 2 separate vehicles. If you have any information that could help the investigation, contact MPD. And the shooting at Nats Park coming less than a day after another shooting in Southeast, this one claiming the life of 6-year-old Naya Courtney. Tonight, 7 News on your side's Nick Minogue visiting a memorial for the little girl, and that's where he spoke with the girl's grandmother, who says Naya's mother is fighting for her life right now and doesn't know what happened to her daughter yet.
Naya was an amazing little girl. My granddaughter did nothing to no one to be the one that had to be buried.
Andrea Courtney is heartbroken and shocked as she visits the block where her 6-year-old granddaughter was shot and killed Friday night in Southeast Washington, D.C. The little girl's name is Naya Courtney. Her mom, Dominique, tried to protect her from the gunfire, and that's when she was shot too, according to her mom.
She's an amazing mom, and she will protect her kids at all costs. Nothing would stop her from trying to protect her children.
Somebody knows something!
On Sunday, a group of D.C. residents showed their support for Naya and her family by marching for change in the neighborhood where the shooting happened.
Say her name! Naya!
And they came together in prayer.
And bringing comfort, God, because you are a God who heals.
It's just really sad to see it, and it keeps happening, and it keeps happening.
Let's take our streets back from these cowards that's killing our children. That's right. These are cowards. These aren't men.
It's heartbreaking. It needs to stop. And it's sad that we're out here killing each other. We need to stop it. The robbing, the carjacking, the raping, everything needs to be stopped in the city.
Naya's grandmother couldn't agree more.
And I pray that another child don't suffer in the way my granddaughter had to suffer with careless acts of violence. I want justice for my granddaughter. Those who is responsible for it, I hope and pray to God that they find it in themselves to turn themselves in.
Now take a good look at this video. That's the vehicle of interest, which is identified as a silver or gray colored four-door sedan. Now MPD is offering a $60,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest in this case of the suspect or suspects. And remember, 7 News is on your side with the latest on this case around the clock on WJLA.com. In Congress Heights, Nick Minock, 7 News.
Hey, right now we are turning to weather, and we're getting a bit of a cool down after a 7-day heat wave, but it looks like those balmy conditions may be coming back soon. Storm Watch 7 meteorologist Brian Vandergraff joining us right now with the latest. And Brian, we're going through a much welcome break in that heat.
Indeed we are. In fact, after 7 days of 90-degree weather today, only 84 downtown. It felt pretty good. In fact, some of our western communities didn't even get out of the upper 70s. Currently 77 right now in the city, 73 at this hour for our friends in Chantilly. Gaithersburg 68, Martinsburg 69 right now. Currently 71 in Spotsylvania, and the air is still fairly dry, so feeling nice out there. Over the next few hours, temperatures slowly drop through the 70s downtown, but our suburbs in the 60s. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, 60s to low 70s, pleasant and comfortable through the mid-morning. We'll see those temperatures rise, and we will get it to the upper 80s. Slightly below average, a little bit warmer than today, but once again, the humidity will remain low, so 88 will not feel that bad. Humidity does sneak back in. Just when and how much? Coming up in just a bit.
Thank you very much. Well, today the community coming together in Northeast Washington to remember Relisha Rudd. In 2014, Relisha was just 8 years old when she disappeared from D.C. General Family Shelter. She was spotted that day on camera at a D.C. hotel with her alleged abductor. But he was found dead during the search for Relisha before police could even question him. The event's organizer today saying that the incidents like this weekend shooting of little Naya hit home on how the violence needs to stop.
I'm numb. When you see it constantly happening over and over and over again, and you know the community knows something, you know that people know something, and these are children. So, you know, it hurts, it bothers me a lot.
Relisha was never found, and no one was ever charged in her disappearance. D.C. General Family Shelter was closed by Mayor Bowser in 2018. 7 News on your side, covering Metro now. After a bizarre incident led to service being suspended several times today after a man jumped onto the tracks. That was near Pentagon City. Police say he was a suspect in a theft who ran from Arlington County police officers earlier in the afternoon. Service was restored 2 hours later, but had to be shut down again after a Metro operator spotted that suspect. The man was taken into custody, and service continued as scheduled about an hour later. And coming up for us tonight, COVID limitations on cruise ships sticking around for now, but we'll tell you why a judge's new ruling threatens to sink those restrictions. Seven News on your side, back now with the latest on the pandemic. And right when many of us believed that life was starting to get back to normal, the number of new infections, hospitalizations, and deaths from the Delta variant are taking a turn for the worse. National correspondent Christine Frizzell with a closer look at what top health officials say is mainly to blame for this surge.
Tonight, a grim reality touching every corner of the country. New COVID cases on the rise once again in all 50 states. A notion unimaginable just weeks ago, with vaccines widely available.
For most people who get this Delta variant, it's going to be the most serious virus that they get in their lifetime.
The numbers prompting action. Health officials in Kansas City, Missouri, imploring all unvaccinated people to reconsider, and in the meantime, to wear masks. Clark County, Nevada, home to Las Vegas, recommending both unvaccinated and vaccinated people wear masks indoors. Los Angeles County taking it even further, once again mandating masks for all.
Why should they, in effect, be punished for an outbreak that is overwhelmingly hitting only those who have chosen not to get a shot?
I would say that it's not punishment, it's prevention.
The LA County Sheriff says his department won't enforce it since it's not backed by CDC guidelines. The CDC, meanwhile, remains focused on the unvaccinated with hopes that the promise of a return to normalcy will help turn the tide of the slowing vaccination rate. In Paris, back to normal means getting to visit the Eiffel Tower, but only if you show proof of vaccination. The president there requiring it for those who want to go to cafes, bars, and movie theaters, prompting a flood of citizens to get the shot after all. Those strict requirements, though, not expected in the United States, where the country's top doctor is blaming social media platforms for allowing misinformation about the vaccines and, in turn, the virus to spread.
We are still seeing a proliferation of misinformation online. And we know that health misinformation harms people's health. It costs them their lives.
Just as many Americans thought we'd rounded the corner, a change of course. COVID patients filling hospitals and ICUs once again, nearly all of whom are unvaccinated. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
And COVID restrictions on Florida cruise ships will remain in place for now. A federal appeals court is putting a temporary hold on a Florida judge's ruling, which called the restrictions unconstitutional. The hold coming down just minutes before the ruling was set to take effect. The state of Florida argues in its suit that the rules are too costly and too burdensome. The judge ruling the CDC should only make non-binding recommendations. The CDC is now appealing that decision. And the start of the Olympic Games in Tokyo is less than a week away. But the battle to keep athletes and staff safe is seeing some setbacks. 2 South African soccer players in the Olympic Village have tested positive, and the first member of the Olympic Committee has also tested positive. This as many continue to oppose the Games due to concerns about having so many visitors in the heart of the city, just as case numbers there are in their highest mark in 6 months. Meanwhile, 2 weeks after undergoing colon surgery, Pope Francis is getting back to his weekly appearances at the Vatican. This is video of him earlier today as he led a prayer from a window above St. Peter's Square. The 84-year-old pontiff was released last Wednesday after going through surgery in Rome. The Vatican saying that he's making a nice recovery, and during today's address, the Pope expressing support for those affected by those devastating floods that have hit parts of Western Europe. The death toll there now at more than 180. And looking ahead, we are getting ready for the next chapter in the billionaire space race. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos will be among the first to try out his own spaceship on Tuesday. 3 crew members will be with him, including his brother Mark, 82-year-old Wally Funk, who will become the oldest person to ever go into space, and 18-year-old Oliver Damon, who will become the youngest. Damon saying on social media that he is over the moon for his opportunity.
I am super excited to go to space and joining them on the flight. I've been dreaming about this all my life.
All 18 years of it. Bezos and the passengers will experience 3 minutes of weightlessness, and the 11-minute flight will send the crew over 60 miles above the Earth's surface. For the record, that's a little farther than Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic flight, which went up 53 miles. But hey, who's counting, right?
What's 7 miles amongst friends,
sure there's
right?
no competition at all, as Branson mentioned when his flight went up.
Interesting stuff.
Yes. All right. So what else is interesting is this weather. I'm happy to see this break. No more 90s, at least for what, a couple days?
A couple days. And even when we get back to the 90s, it'll feel like the 90s, not like 105. Yes. Okay, so that's
improvement.
That's the difference there. Live look from our tower cam, the cathedral there, Washington Monument in the distance, and outside right now, temperatures dropping back. I do want to show you the trend that we've seen over the last couple of days. We did have 7 days. You go all the way back to last Sunday. We were in the 90s each and every one of those days. And today, look at that, a 10-degree drop. That's a big drop from where we were just the last couple of days. So a nice little change there. Our average high is 90. In fact, our average high stays 90 for a few more days, and then it starts to go down. So climatologically, we're in the hottest time of the year typically here for Washington, D.C. And today we did get a little bit of a reprieve out there. Current numbers across the area in the 60s already. 68 Winchester and Frederick. Luray, friends down in Page County at 70. 70 in Culpeper. 71 Fredericksburg. Leonardtown 68 as well as Upper Marlboro. Annapolis 74 over by the Bay this evening. Things feeling fairly comfortable. I'll show you show you the big picture. The system that brought through showers and storms yesterday sinking down to our south. So it is the focus for some showers and storms. Tidewater, Virginia, Norfolk, down into the Virginia Beach area. North of town, definitely a clearer, calmer setup for us. And as long as that front stays to the south, things are looking pretty solid around here for the next couple of days. Temperatures will start to come up a bit, but all within reason. So showers and thunderstorms staying well to the south of our area. Some clouds through the morning, but progressively through the afternoon, it does appear that we'll get more in the way of some sunshine. It should be a delightful day tomorrow. Mid-upper 80s, but feeling like the mid and upper 80s. In fact, high tomorrow, 88 downtown, 84 Leonardtown, 88 Leesburg. There could be a few 90s in there. And as I said, the next couple of days, we are on either side of 90 degrees. And honestly, it'll feel fairly about the same each and every day. We get a little more humidity building in by middle of the week. We are tracking the chance for a couple isolated storms. Once again, that word isolated, meaning not everyone in on the action. Wednesday, Thursday, calm. Friday, a few isolated storms, and again later by the back half of the weekend. Bottom line is that if you have a garden and you have some lawns that are not looking so great, don't wait on Mother Nature. You might want to go ahead and pull out the hose or turn on that sprinkler system. Carl?
Good advice, Brian. Thank you very much. And a reminder right now that 7 News is your back-to-school headquarters. And we're helping students across the DMV get the school supplies they need to succeed. Now, take a look. You can order supplies right now or make a donation at WJLA.com/backpack. And happening this week, 7 News and Volunteers of America are teaming up to stuff the truck. Help us fill it up with school supplies on Thursday at the IKEA at Potomac Mills Mall in Woodbridge. You can drop off supplies from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. And as we start getting our families ready for the return to the classroom, 7 News' Kelly Lynn has put together a list of ways that you can save on supplies. And Ryan Miller will take a look at the steps you can take to help your kids cope with stress of going back to class. I'll catch all of that tomorrow morning, right here on 7 News. You can also find even more content on WJLA.com/back-to-school. Well, happening this week for the first time since 2017, a Super Bowl champion is visiting the White House. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, seen here celebrating with a boat parade after winning Super Bowl 55, will be congratulated by President Biden in person this coming Tuesday. The Bucs' victory marked the 7th Super Bowl win for quarterback Tom Brady, but there's no confirmation he'll travel with the team. Brady skipped a previous visit to the White House under President Obama. All right, now it's time to get a look at the latest highlights and headlines in D.C. sports with Olivia Garvey. Olivia.
Yeah, Carl, it was a hectic night last night in D.C. Scary for the players, the fans, and everyone at the game and around the ballpark. We're going to hear from Ryan Zimmerman and have highlights from today's unusual doubleheader coming up next in sports. Nationals Park was a scary sight last night. Shots were fired outside the third base gate, and they were easily heard by everyone in the ballpark and over the broadcast. My producer Winston and I even heard it. It was a scary scene. Fans were running out of their seats and onto the concourse. Players were going in the stands, grabbing family members and even people they didn't even know to bring them into the dugout for safety. Ryan Zimmerman spoke on last night's incident earlier today. Take a listen.
That was something we've never really heard before. So, you go into the dugout and you go in and you see kind of the people up in that left or third base kind of gate area, starting to scatter and you don't know what's going on. So, not a good situation, but, like I said, once you kind of learn what happened, and good that it wasn't in the park. Trying to take some positives out of obviously a tough situation.
A tough situation, but they were back out playing baseball today. Let's get to the second game. Nats blow a 4-run lead. Manny Machado gives the Padres a lead with a 2-run blast in the 8th. 6-4, San Diego. Slam Diego. Bottom of the inning, Juan Soto doing Juan Soto things since the Derby. Always the deep fly ball opposite way. Oppo action and into the seats. A 2-run shot. Nats lead by 1. Padres tied it up in the 9th, though. Then Alcides Escobar with 2 on, and he hits one over. Grisham in center, scores Barea. Nats walk off 8-7. And finally, join us for 7 News Sports Sunday at 11:30. We'll go more in depth on the West Unseld Junior Hire. Plus, we're counting down to Washington football team training camp. We're going to be there all week. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. And happening tomorrow, construction will begin to make Black Lives Matter Plaza a permanent fixture in the district. DDOT will be shutting down both lanes of 16th Street to cars between H and K Street just north of the White House. But sidewalks will stay open throughout that work. Construction is set to last 9:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. on weekdays, and road closures are expected to remain in place until October. And happening tomorrow, the D.C. DMV will resume walk-in services on a first-come, first-served basis, and they'll be hoping to avoid the long lines we've been seeing, like this one at their M Street location when they offered special weekend hours earlier this month. For now, you'll still need to make an appointment for road tests for commercial and standard driver's licenses. And if you can, the DMV is encouraging you to use their online services instead of going to an office. And stay with us. We'll be right back with another look at your Stormwatch 7 forecast for the week ahead in less than 2 minutes.
All right, so we look at tomorrow. We'll start off in the 60s in the burbs, 70s downtown. Now, there will be some clouds around through the morning. There could be some scattered clouds in spots. But through the day, I think progressively we get more in the way of some sunshine. Temperatures get into the mid and upper 80s for us, so that is some good news there. The extended forecast here showing we'll be on the 90-degree range, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In fact, all week. I'll say either side of 90 degrees. We could be 89, could be 91. So, yes, it does get a little bit warmer. Typically, this time of year is the hottest time of the year. I will mention to you, though, that humidity remains fairly comfortable throughout the week. It'll feel a little bit more intense, but nothing like what we had last week.
All right. Sounds good to me, Brian. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for joining us today. You can get the latest forecast updates around the clock at WJLA.com/weather and on the free Stormwatch 7 weather app. Stay tuned. Sports Sunday is coming up next.